Welcome back, fellow readers. This is Suave, and today we're going to be doing a manga discussion on The World's Finest Assassin Gets Reincarnated in Another World as an Aristocrat, Volume 1 by Yen Press. And this is a story that I've already covered as a light novel review, so if you want to check that video out, go click this card right up here. But for now, we're going to take a look at this manga, we're going to talk spoilers, and we're going to see what this book actually looks like and what the story is all about. So without further ado, let's begin. So the story starts off with our finest assassin, and when I was reading through the light novel, I kind of pictured a middle-aged man, but now we have this very elderly guy. He has a lot of wrinkles in his head. I thought it was pretty cool. He has a really nice hair design, and he's in this plane. He's trying to get out because he knows that he's being targeted by the government that he works for, and they are here to take him out because he has too many secrets. And he's trying to do his best, but when he looks out the window, he sees this fighter jet. And he knows this is it because he can't escape this missile that they're going to fire at him. So obviously the plane crashes down and he perishes. And then he gets greeted by the goddess in this other world. So as the story goes, she singles this guy up because she wants his assassination skills in order to kill the hero, who kills the demon king, takes his powers, and becomes an evil hero and governs the whole world and plunges the whole thing into chaos. And so she wants him to be able to stop him before he can do that, but after he kills the demon king, so that there's peace in the world. And so he agrees, and so the goddess bestows upon him all the knowledge that he needs about this world and how it functions. And so here he is sitting in this library in this otherworldly plane, trying to read up on every single skill that's available, because she's going to allow him to pick any skill that he wants, one of every rank, which is S, A, B, C, and D. And so he's reading all that up. And he's looking at all these skills, and there is this amazing double spread of the S rank skills. We got to read about them in the light novels, but here you get not only just the descriptions, but a whole picture worth of every single little skill. And it's just so badass to see some of the things like the magic sword, the seal of subordination, monster creation. It just looks so badass in this double spread. So after he's done picking his skills, he goes back up to the goddess, and she kind of laughs at him a little bit, like, how are you gonna defeat the hero with these ridiculous combinations of skills? But he's the expert, so she's curious as to how he's gonna pull it off, so she lets him do his thing, and she lets him become reincarnated, and now he's reborn as a little baby named Lug. Now Lug is born into a family of assassins, but here's the little wholesome part, is that Lug didn't realize that he would actually have a family that would care about him. He knew he was going to be born into a world of assassins, but he thought it would be more cold-hearted, a little bit more like the agency that he worked for. No, he's born with a mom and a dad who actually really do love after their child, and they're going to raise him and do everything that they can in order for him to be the best person and the best assassin that he can be. So fast forward a little bit, I think Lug's about 5 years old now, and his father is here to teach him a lesson about assassination. He wants him to be able to kill and have purpose in his kill. So he brings him down to the cellar. There's all these people who are imprisoned. They're like the lowlives. No one cares if they die. And it's Luke's job to be able to kill them. And Luke has his previous knowledge and training from his past life still. And he's like, well, Dad, why did you teach me to be a kind human being? Wouldn't this make me hesitate if I want to kill them? And so his dad is like, no, well, we want you to be human. We want you to be able to make choices for yourself. We don't just want you to be a death machine that has no emotion. And so that kind of triggers Luke a little bit. He's like, well, that might make me a little weaker, but this is the life of Luke, and so this is who I have to be. And I'm going to respect that, and I'm going to do what I have to do in order to make my dad proud and to live this life to the fullest. So now the story moves on another 5 years. Now Luke is about 10 years old, and now he meets this girl named Dia. And Dia is this very renowned mage throughout the kingdom, and she's here to teach Luke how to basically use magic, because there's a specific way to read and chant magic in order for it to happen. And so she's here to be able to measure his capability, make sure that he's able to even use magic in the first place. His parents are pretty confident that he can because he has a lot of mana. So Dia shows him a little stone, and this stone is called the Far Stone. It basically is able to hold a certain amount of capacity of mana. And Luke is someone who, when we look at his skills, he's had unlimited growth and he's able to rapidly recover. So he's able to train himself beyond normal human capability. And over time, he's been able to maximize his mana capacity as best as he could. So he's overflowing, putting all this mana into this little fire stone, and Dia is sort of freaking out as to how much mana does this guy really have. And it goes to the point where the fire stone actually can't handle the amount of mana that he's putting into it, so he chucks it off into the air before it explodes, and it detonates, and it creates this huge shockwave that kind of frightens her, and even kind of frightens his parents too. So now Luke is at the point where he gets to learn how to use magic, and he is able to produce the basic earth spell, which is being able to create a chunk of lead. And you know, this sort of escalates further and further, where he's able to create more unique metals such as iron, steel, and he even starts playing around with some different mixtures of metals in order to create alloys. And so he starts creating these crazy knives, and Dia is just incredibly impressed with his progress. And it gets to the point where he actually makes guns and cannons, because you know, he has all this knowledge from his previous world, and this technology doesn't exist in this world. So he's using the spells in order to morph metal into these shapes, and also using his fire spells in order to be able to trigger the detonation or to fire these bullets. And so it's pretty cool to see him using these guns and these cannons, and people are like, what the heck are these weapons? Now Dia, she's having a blast too, because you gotta remember, this guy has a unique skill called Spellweaver. I believe it's his A-class rank spell, and Spellweaver allows him to create spells out of the blue that don't exist in this world. So time is up. Dia has to go back home, and you know, they're kind of sad because Dia's obsessed with learning about new magics with Luke, and Luke is wanting to be able to do the same thing with Dia so that he can get stronger. And they make this little promise saying that if she ever needs him, he'll come running after her and drop everything. A couple years later, Luke gets a little bit older, and he's off to find a mage in order to be able to train with him. He needs someone who has mana capacity and is able to be trained by him so that he can be able to both cast magic and also wield weapons at the same time. And then we get to a young character named Tart. Now Tart is all skin and bones when Luke first meets her. And you know, Luke doesn't really pay much attention to her first, but then he realizes that she has mana. And you know, eventually what they also realize is that she has sort of been forsaken by her family. They've been trying to get rid of her. She's worthless to them. And you know, she had a dream saying that the goddess brought her here, and that this is where she needed to go. And then you know, Luke kind of figures, well, okay, maybe the goddess brought her here. This is part of her plan. You know, it can't just be a pure coincidence that out of the blue this one girl comes out of nowhere. I'm looking for someone with mana. I've been searching everywhere and no one has mana, and this girl is right here in front of me and she has mana, and I need her on my side right now. And that's exactly what happens. Luke brings her in as his retainer, and you know, I think they're about teenagers at this point. She's gotten to be a little bit healthier. She's eating now, and you know, when she eats now, she has a full healthy body, and man, do they draw a full healthy body on her. But remember, she's not here just for looks. She's here to be his personal retainer and be able to keep up with his assassination work and being able to use magic. So she can throw down when it needs to throw down. She's able to wield this crazy ass looking spear. She has throwing knives on her thighs. She is all about this assassination work. And now comes an upcoming trial of Luke having to take on his own father to see if he can be proven as a true assassin. And this is probably one of my favorite parts of the manga, because his father is no joke. He is a mastercraft assassin. He is able to creep up on Luke, even though Luke has all these superhuman stats from being able to train over the years. His father is able to keep up with him and pretty much sneak up on him a lot. He's able to do all these crazy knife throwing tricks that Luke has not even been able to see yet. And the only way for Luke to be able to pull off a win against his father is to be able to allow himself to get stabbed, but be able to carefully dodge it so he doesn't get stabbed at a vital point, and then use that momentum to allow him to put a dagger by his dad's face and declare himself the winner. Now here's where the manga ends, and it's kind of where it gets really good too. This is where Luke finds out that he needs to go through one of his final trials, and it's to be able to learn a new craft. Because when he was born with two other identities. One is to be a blacksmith, and the other identity is some bastard son of a merchant. And there's a reason behind all of this, because when you're an assassin, you want to be able to get close to your high profile targets. These high profile targets usually are dealing on the side with merchants and other sort of craftsmen. And so chances are, if you can learn one of these crafts and be a master craftsman, you can use this to your advantage to be able to gain intelligence throughout the area and also be able to really get close to these high profile targets. And I love this last shot of where we end the manga. It's where we get the Luke that we know and love in the light novel, where he dyes his hair black so that no one recognizes who he is, because now he's under the new identity of Ilig Baylor. And Ilig Baylor is the bastard son of the Baylor merchant, and so he is here to be able to craft his name as a merchant. And by his side is a lovely Maha. And Maha is someone who we are going to learn about in the next volume, but she is awesome. She is there to be by his side at all times. And that, folks, is the World's Finest Assassin manga volume 1. And you know, it's a little bit short because you got to remember this is a manga adaptation for the light novel. Now this manga covers about half of that light novel content right up to chapter 12, where he becomes Ilig Baylor. And you know, this first manga volume is all about him being able to figure out who he is as Luke, developing all the good background stuff that we're gonna get. But I think volume 2 is where things really get kicked off, because that's where we get the real big assassinations and the real good plot going on. And I cannot wait for volume 2. I mean, volume 1 was okay. It still had its good moments, but I mean, the art was a little weird with the kids. But now that he's growing up and we got that shot at the last page where he's more of a young adult and Maha's by his side, I have no doubt that this second volume is gonna bring the heat. With that being said, let me know what you think about this manga down below in the comment section. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. With that being said, I will see you all next time. Bye everyone.